Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. You didn't stumble upon this video while casually scrolling. You were led here because your spirit needs to hear this now. You've been questioning, reflecting, feeling the weight of what you've endured, and wondering if any of it was even worth it. You've looked at your life and asked, "Why me?" more times than you can count. But what if I told you that you're not cursed, you're chosen? That what you've gone through wasn't punishment, it was preparation. And that the pain you've paid with has positioned you for a blessing that can't be stolen, duplicated, or denied. Let's break it down. 7 chapters, 7 truths, all for the one who has paid a heavy price to be where you are. Before we dive in, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, because this is a message every chosen one who's been through the fire needs to hear. If this message already stirs something deep in your spirit, drop the number 77 in the comments. That's not just a number. It's a signal to the universe that you recognize the price you've paid and you're ready to walk boldly in the blessing that's been prepared for you. Only those who are truly chosen will stay until the end. And those who do, those who feel every word, every truth, every confirmation, will leave with a sharpened spiritual vision, renewed clarity, and divine validation of the sacrifices they've made. And remember, this isn't just a message, it's a mirror. Come back to this video as often as you need. Every time you replay it, a new truth will unlock. Something you missed before will now hit different. Why? Because your spirit will be more ready, your ears will be more open, and your blessing will be even closer. Let's begin. Chapter 1. You paid with time. While others were racing ahead, chasing trends, chasing status, chasing temporary satisfaction, you were standing still. Not because you lacked ambition, but because your spirit wouldn't let you settle for less than divine alignment. You watched from the sidelines while others seemed to climb effortlessly, posting their wins, celebrating their milestones, getting noticed and praised. Meanwhile, you sat in rooms where no one knew your name. You kept showing up faithfully to a life that looked like it was going nowhere. But what looked like stagnation was actually sacred construction. The truth is, God wasn't delaying your life. He was developing your soul. You didn't get detoured. You got deeply rooted. He slowed you down so he could build something in you that would last. Because chosen ones don't operate on the world's timeline. You're not built for speed. You're built for strength. And what you carry is not average. It's generational, eternal, supernatural. That kind of calling demands a different kind of process. What takes others a season takes you years, not because you're less worthy, but because your foundation must be unshakable. God was removing every crack in your character. He was stripping away your reliance on timing, on people, on external signs. You learned how to walk without proof, how to believe without applause, how to show up for your calling even when no one was clapping. Every silent season taught you obedience. Every delay taught you surrender. Every detour refined your discernment. And while it hurt to watch others seem to flourish while you stayed in the background, understand this. What they built quickly may not last, but what you're building in obedience, in surrender, and in time, it will be unshakable, because it was born in the secret place. It was built in the year 1990. It was tested when no one was watching. They got visibility. You got vision. They got momentum. You got meaning. They got followers. You got foundation. And that time you thought you lost, it wasn't lost. It was multiplied in the spirit. Every unseen act of faith, every hidden prayer, Every small obedient step added up. While the world moved fast, you moved true. And now, you're not just ready, you're refined. You're not just stepping into success, you're stepping into destiny. You didn't miss your moment. Your moment was being made. Now when you rise, you won't rise fragile. You'll rise fortified. You won't rise needing validation. You'll rise walking in authority, because you paid with time. You sacrificed the shortcut. You let go of the easy route. And because of that, your time is not just coming, it's divine, it's designed, it's right on schedule. You weren't being punished in the waiting, you were being positioned. Now the time you paid is the power you walk in, and the time you gave is the reason you're chosen. Chapter 2. You paid with tears. You've cried more than you speak of, more than anyone truly knows. Not just the kind of tears that come from a single heartbreak, but the kind that build up quietly over years. The kind you release late at night when no one is around. When the house is quiet, the world is asleep, and you're left alone with everything you've been holding in. You've cried because you were overwhelmed, because you were tired of being strong, because you had to carry pain that wasn't even yours. Generational pain, family burdens, unspoken expectations. You carried weight that no one helped you lift, and sometimes no one even acknowledged it was there. You smiled in public while breaking in private. You gave advice with a heavy heart. You encouraged others even when you had no hope left for yourself. You were the pillar everyone leaned on, the safe place others cried to. But who was there when your spirit was the one shattered? You remained loyal to people who betrayed you when you needed them most. You stayed longer than you should have. You forgave when you had every reason to walk away. And every time someone left you, overlooked you, or wounded you, you swallowed the pain and kept going. But the tears came, sometimes slowly, sometimes all at once, not out of weakness, but because you were human, because you were healing. And those tears weren't wasted, not a single one. You see, in the kingdom, what the world sees as brokenness, God sees as offering. Every tear was a seed you planted in the soil of your future. Every time you chose to weep rather than become bitter, you were sowing something sacred. Those tears softened the ground for the blessing that's now growing. God was not ignoring you. He was gathering each drop, every silent sob, every whispered, "Why me?" Every breakdown moment where you couldn't even pray, just weep. All of it was seen. All of it was sacred. Because it was in those moments, the ones no one applauded, that you were being spiritually refined. Those tears watered your spiritual maturity. They taught you compassion. They made your heart softer and your discernment sharper. They made you more sensitive to pain, not just your own, but others too. And now, you don't just carry wisdom, you carry depth. You carry a kind of strength that doesn't look loud, but is deeply rooted. And here's the beautiful part. Those tears didn't just mark your pain, they marked your growth. They became liquid prayers. They became the evidence that you didn't give up, that even in your darkest moments, you still felt enough hope to cry. Because crying means your heart is still tender. It means you didn't harden like the world wanted you to. It means you kept believing something better was coming, even when everything looked worse. So when you begin to walk in the blessings that are forming now, understand that they weren't given to you out of convenience. They were born from a deep place. You earned them through perseverance, through nights of grief, through silent mornings of trying to pull yourself together to face another day. You paid with tears that no one clapped for. You bled in battles no one witnessed. And yet, here you are, still standing, still rising, still soft-hearted, still choosing love, still choosing light. You are not weak for crying. You are chosen because you endured what others would have drowned in. And now, your tears have turned into rain that is nourishing your season of growth. The tears you cried in secret are about to produce fruit in public. This time, people will see the harvest, but only you and God know the price it cost you. Chapter 3. You paid with trust. You trusted people who ended up betraying you. You opened your heart, gave your word, stood by others, only to be left, lied to, or let down. You believed in their potential, even when they gave you every reason to walk away. You stayed loyal in moments when others would have left. And somehow, you still gave people the benefit of the doubt, not because they earned it, but because you lived from a place of integrity, not convenience. But it wasn't just people you trusted. You also trusted the timing of your life, even when that timing made absolutely no sense. You trusted God when the lights went out, when the path disappeared, when everything around you was falling apart, and the answers you prayed for never came. You trusted without confirmation. You obeyed without signs. You stayed grounded in silence, when all you wanted was a whisper from heaven to tell you it wasn't all in vain. That's the kind of trust that can't be learned in comfort. It can only be forged in fire, because trusting God when it makes sense is easy, but trusting Him when your heart is shattered, when doors keep closing, when prayers seem to go unanswered, that's different. That's sacred. That's spiritual maturity. You had to let go of the illusion of control. You had to release the need to know what's next. You had to keep walking, blindly at times, with no clarity, no validation, and no map. And that's exactly where your strength was built. Not in the knowing, but in the not knowing. Not in the certainty, but in the surrender. You walked when your legs were shaking. You said yes when your mind was full of questions. You gave God a full body, full heart, full soul yes, even when the path ahead looked like wilderness. You obeyed when logic screamed no. You moved forward when your emotions begged you to stop. You trusted the process, not because you understood it, but because something deeper in you knew it had purpose. That kind of trust doesn't always come with peace. Sometimes it comes with pressure. It comes with resistance. It comes with feeling like you're losing, when in reality, you're being positioned to win in a way the world can't measure. And let's be honest, that trust didn't make your journey easier. In fact, in many ways, it made it lonelier. Because when you trust like that, you walk a different road. You say no to things that others chase. You stay behind when others rush ahead. You stay still when others sprint. Not because you're afraid, but because you're aligned. That kind of trust makes you look strange. It makes others question you. It makes you question yourself. But through all of it, you never stopped. Even when you doubted, you didn't disconnect. Even when you questioned, you didn't quit. Even when the storm raged, your spirit remained anchored. And because of that, because you trusted when trust hurt, because you obeyed when obedience cost you, because you waited when waiting felt like a curse, now God can trust you with more wisdom, more responsibility, more clarity, more influence, because He knows you won't use it to glorify your ego. You'll use it to elevate His purpose. You've proven your heart in the dark. You've passed tests that had no audience. And now, heaven recognizes you not just as chosen, but as trustworthy. You didn't fold when it didn't feel fair. You didn't walk away when it got hard. You didn't stop trusting, even when everything inside you screamed to let go. Chapter 4. You were blessed in the dark. People often think blessings only arrive when the lights are on, when the crowd is watching, when life is finally going right. They assume that success is the sign of favor. The car, the house, the status, the promotion, the applause. But you, chosen one, you know a deeper truth, a quieter truth, a truth most people will never see. You are blessed in the dark, not after the victory, but before it. Not once they clapped, but when no one noticed. Not after the healing, but during the heartbreak. You were being molded, shaped, and elevated when it looked like nothing was happening. You were blessed while being overlooked. You were being crowned while being counted out. While others were watching their name rise, you were letting your soul sink deeper into God's process. While some were chasing recognition, you were sitting with your reflection, healing the wounds, breaking the cycles, confronting the shadows. You were being blessed when you were invisible, when people ignored you, when doors slammed in your face, when you walked into rooms and felt unseen, unheard, and uncelebrated. But heaven saw you. Heaven approved you. Heaven anointed you, not in front of crowds, but in the cave. And it was in that darkness that the most important thing happened. You became not someone new, but the person you were born to be. You shed the false layers. You let the masks fall. You stopped pretending. You stopped performing. You got real with your pain, your purpose, and your path. Because the real blessing was never the thing. It was always the transformation. It was the inner shift, the spiritual elevation. The moment you realized you didn't need validation to be valuable. You didn't need applause to be anointed. You didn't need the spotlight to be seen by the Spirit. In the dark, you learned to walk by faith, not by sight. You learned how to pray without needing proof. You learned how to worship in silence, how to keep your head high while your heart was breaking, how to stand tall when everything in your life felt like it was collapsing. In the dark, you discovered your true source. You stopped depending on people. You stopped leaning on the world. You went inward and upward. You built your faith in the fire. You learned the voice of God in the absence of noise. You became sensitive to His whispers. And because of that, now you're unshakable. This world rewards the public display, but heaven rewards the private discipline. And you put in the work when there was no audience. You kept showing up when no one was clapping. You kept believing when nothing around you made sense. Now, when the light hits you, you won't flinch. You won't fake it. You won't shrink. Because you didn't just prepare, you transformed. You're not stepping into success as a performer. You're stepping into your calling as a vessel, a force, a living testimony. So don't be surprised when people say, "Where did you come from?" Tell them, "From the dark, from the lonely places, from the hidden season you never saw. I was being blessed when you thought I was being broken." Chosen one, your glow didn't come from glitter. It came from grit, from grace, from God. And now that the world can finally see you, they'll realize the real blessing wasn't the outcome. It was the becoming. It was who you forged yourself into when no one was watching. You were blessed in the dark, and that blessing is what makes your light so powerful now. Chapter 5. You lost much, but gained more. Chosen one, let's be real. You've lost a lot. More than people know. More than even you like to admit sometimes. You lost people you loved, people you prayed for, believed in, poured into. You lost time. Years spent waiting, hoping, trying, only to be left with unanswered questions and invisible scars. You lost opportunities that seemed tailor-made for you, moments that slipped away just as you were reaching for them. Relationships that ended without closure, friendships that faded into silence. You even lost pieces of yourself along the way. Your innocence, your trust, your sense of safety. The version of you that believed everyone had good intentions. The version of you that smiled more easily, loved more freely, dreamed more boldly. That loss was real. That grief was heavy. You felt it in your chest, in your sleep, in your silence. At times you asked God, "Why does everything I care about keep slipping through my hands?" You looked at your life and saw ashes, not answers. Empty space, not purpose. But here's the twist, and this is where the revelation comes in. Every time something left your life, something greater was being prepared for you. You weren't being punished. You were being pruned. You weren't being overlooked. You were being refined. Because pruning always looks like loss before it looks like fruit. God was never subtracting to hurt you. He was subtracting to multiply you. He was removing what looked good so he could make room for what's divine. He was protecting you from things you didn't even see coming, from people who couldn't carry your calling, from situations that would have slowly drained your soul. What you thought was rejection was actually redirection. What felt like abandonment was alignment. What looked like the end was simply the exchange, the holy trade, where God said, "Let me take what you think you need, so I can give you what you're really called to carry." And now, look at what you've gained. You've gained wisdom, the kind that doesn't come from books, but from heartbreak and healing. You've gained discernment, the ability to feel when something's off, to spot hidden intentions, to hear what isn't being said. You've gained peace, not just silence, but real soul-level stillness, the kind of peace that keeps you calm when chaos tries to enter the room. You've learned that peace is more valuable than popularity, that alignment matters more than attention, that silence can be more powerful than speaking, that being alone isn't the same as being abandoned. Sometimes it's sacred protection. Now you don't chase, you choose. You don't beg, you bless. You don't cling, you release. Because you've learned that what leaves you doesn't define you, it frees you. And what's meant for you will always find you. You've lost much, yes, but you've gained more than you ever imagined. Clarity, confidence, divine protection, and unshakable inner strength. Now you walk differently, not because you have everything you want, but because you know exactly what you no longer need. You've been through the fire, and you didn't come out empty. You came out elevated. You came out focused. You came out chosen. So when they ask how you're still standing, how you're still smiling, how you're still walking with such peace, tell them, "I lost much, but what I gained can't be measured in things. What I gained is eternal." And that's the difference between those who were broken and stayed broken, and those who were broken and rebuilt stronger. You, chosen one, are the latter, and you didn't just survive the loss, you transcended it. Chapter 6. They saw the result, but not the price. Now that you've arrived at this place of peace, strength, and breakthrough, people are watching. They see your success, your calm in the storm, your confidence that seems unshakable. They call you lucky. They admire your glow up, your breakthrough. They might even envy you quietly from the sidelines. They see the harvest, the fruit on the vine. But what they don't see is the soil, the sweat, and the sacrifice beneath it all. They don't see the countless lonely nights where you lay awake, wrestling with doubts no one knew about. The silent tears shed when nobody was around to comfort you. The spiritual battles fought in the quiet moments before dawn, when you whispered prayers with a weary soul. They don't see the years spent in obscurity, the times you felt invisible, irrelevant, overlooked. The moments when you asked yourself if the waiting would ever end, if the struggle was worth it, if your calling was even real. They don't see the inner wars, the fight against fear, the battle with your own insecurities, the wrestling with questions that had no easy answers, the voices in your head that told you to give up, to settle, to stop believing. They don't see how many times you had to keep walking forward without a map, without a mentor, without financial backing, only armed with vision and unwavering obedience. How you took steps into the unknown, trusting a God who seemed silent, a purpose that wasn't yet clear, a future still hidden behind the clouds. Let them talk. Let them speculate. Let them guess the reasons for your rise. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't have to defend the process, because those who walk with God don't need to be understood by the world. They need to be obedient to the call on their life. Your journey was not paved with luck or chance. It was forged with pain, perseverance, and unshakable faith. You paid the price, in full. Every setback was a lesson. Every tear was a seed. Every lonely moment was preparation. Every no was redirecting you to a greater yes. You did not take shortcuts. You did not settle for less. You did not trade your destiny for comfort. And that's why your blessing can't be faked. It's not a flash in the pan or a momentary win. It's authentic. It's deep-rooted. It's battle-tested. When people look at you now, they're not just seeing your success. They're witnessing the victory of a soul that refused to quit, a spirit that refused to be broken, and a heart that remained faithful even when faith felt impossible. So wear your scars like medals. Carry your story like armor. Because the price you paid isn't just your past, it's your power. And no one can ever take that from you. Chapter 7. This is why you're blessed. Chosen one. Listen closely. Your blessing is not the result of ease or luck. It's not because the path was smooth or the journey comfortable. No, you are blessed because you were faithful when everything inside you wanted to quit. You are blessed because you held on tight when the world told you to let go. Because you chose endurance over escape, faith over fear, hope over hopelessness. You're not blessed simply because of what you have now. Your blessing runs far deeper. It's rooted in everything that didn't break you, every trial you faced and refused to let define you, every season of silence where your spirit grew louder, every moment you sacrificed your comfort, your desires, your ease for something greater. You didn't take shortcuts. You didn't cut corners. You didn't compromise your integrity or sell out your soul for temporary gain. You stayed true to your calling, even when it meant walking alone. You stayed committed to your vision, even when no one else believed. You obeyed the quiet voice inside when it made no sense to the world around you. You paid a price most won't understand. You invested your time when patience felt impossible. You poured out tears that no one saw, healing wounds hidden beneath your smile. You chose trust again and again, trusting people who disappointed you, trusting timing that was unclear, trusting God when the path was dark. And heaven saw every sacrifice. Heaven marked every moment of faithfulness. Heaven recorded every tear, every prayer, every step of obedience. Your blessing is not random. It is recognition. It is reward for the resilience of your soul. It is a testament to the fact that you refuse to settle for less than what you were born to receive. Now, it's your time. Walk boldly into this season. Stand tall in your purpose. Receive every favor, every blessing, every open door with gratitude and confidence. Do not apologize for your anointing, that sacred gift placed on your life. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. You were forged in the fire of trials for a reason, and that reason is unfolding right now. You are not here by accident. You are not here to be small or silent. You are here to shine with the full brilliance of who you were created to be. So, own your power, step into your calling, speak your truth, love without limits, lead with strength and humility, because you are blessed, deeply, divinely, irrevocably blessed, and you paid for it. Every tear, every trial, every moment of trust was a down payment on your destiny. This blessing is your inheritance. Embrace it, claim it, live it. The world is waiting for what only you can give.